All right, guys, welcome to the very first episode of the Side Quest Saga, and today we're diving into two heavy hitters. We got the Ghost of Yotei and Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, both exploring beauty, violence, and the spiritual side of Japanese storytelling. Obviously, with this being the first episode, I'm going to go around the table and introduce everybody. So for the first, we got Wash. Also, we got another guest host. Hopefully, we can talk him into being on the show. We got NLT, and another cast member, we got Money.
He ain't going nowhere, bro. He's gonna be here for a long run.
Hopefully, I'm pretty sure we could get him into it. So, I think it's been about, a week, maybe more since Demon Slayer's been out and Ghost of Yotei's been out. So we'll go around the table here. I know
it's been a week since we put this podcast together.
Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks maybe. So correct. We'll go around the table. I'm going to give you guys my first initial impressions for both Ghost of Yotei and Demon Slayer.
Okay.
I think Ghost of Yotei is definitely, without comparing it to anything else, I'd definitely say it's probably a good 8.5 for me. Wash. I know we have contradictory opinions.
A 6 out of 10?
It's a 6 out of 10.
You so harsh with your ratings on stuff.
Because I just feel like what captures me in gaming is the storytelling.
Right.
And so the storytelling between Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei is just missing this one element. Like at the same time, it's kind of like, revenge for the sake of revenge, hell yeah. Right, but
we like revenge stories.
Right, but Ghost of Tsushima, I just feel like he had more depth as far as his storyline, as far as the reasoning behind what he was doing. Mm-hmm. Whereas Atsu, I just don't get the same depth.
It just feels surface level to you?
Kind of, man. But at the same time, revenge for the sake of revenge still has its own depth, right? But it's just different. You know, like Jin he was the nephew of Lord... Who was it? Sakai, I believe?
Yeah, Lord Sakai.
Yeah, so like he had reasons behind why he was leading that invasion, and then also just the struggle he was having between like picking up guerrilla tactics and whatnot, you know, as far as like even assassinating people.
Losing the samurai way.
Wait. Let me make sure I'm tracking.
Okay.
Is this a game or anime? What are we
It's a game.
It's a game.
So essentially, there's two sequels in the Ghost series. I wouldn't call them sequels essentially, but we have Ghost of Tsushima, which is based on mainland and Iki Island of Japan, and then you also have Ghost of Yotei, which is based in, I can't remember which city it is or which part of Japan, but near the Yotei Mountains. So I think everyone obviously has mixed opinions about Ghost of Yotei, and so we'll jump into.
So y'all want to know my opinion?
Yeah,
before we get your opinion,
okay, word.
Let's let the viewers know NLT's One Piece sad backstory. Okay, he grew up in Middle America. He wasn't able to watch cartoons. Wasn't able to play games. He just had to play sports.
Dragon Ball Z.
Grew up with Joe Jackson.
You couldn't watch no anime or nothing like that.
First of all, I'm from Virginia. We don't watch anime.
All they do is cook. That's all they do is cook.
I mean, to be fair, growing up as well, I couldn't read Harry Potter. Okay,
and I'm almost
because it was witchcraft. So my parents considered it witchcraft. So but obviously
you ain't want to be tricked by the Slytherin house, huh?
I feel like.
Hey, yo, come on, dog.
I feel like
Slytherin house is crazy.
That's legit.
What do you mean by that?
That's a legit.
That's a literal.
Yeah, but it sounds crazy.
Slytherin house? Why was that a pause though? That sounds like anything.
Get tricked by the Slytherin house.
Okay, he's not a Harry Potter person, so
My brother used to read Harry Potter.
So obviously,
I'm not a Harry Potter
watch
person
any of the movies or anything.
Yeah, for sure. I went to the Harry Potter Museum in Tokyo.
That sounds good.
They want no Slytherin house around me.
I mean, to be fair though, Harry Potter's trash.
Why we gotta say it like that?
Harry Potter's trash.
It's trash. I feel like we're getting off topic.
We're getting off topic.
Let's
We'll blame NLT for that, but jumping back on track here, I think we all have different opinions about Ghost of Yotei. Now, I think it's good in terms of the gameplay and the scenery, but having gone back to Ghost of Tsushima and having played it several times, probably at least 10, 15 times, in English and Japanese, I think it takes a little bit of time. And I know that the side quests, like I think I saw the other day, someone 33 hours on side quests in Ghost of Yotei alone. So, I mean, let's be realistic. The gameplay is there, which is good, but I think the timing of it, I think Ghost of Yotei took maybe a little less time than Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
So I feel like that heavily influenced it. And then obviously with the other games coming out, like GTA and other things getting pushed
Yeah, let's talk
with
about the
Battlefield.
real game. GTA. That's what grown men play.
But I think let's actually jump into Infinity Castle. So I think, what's you guys' take on Infinity Castle? I'll let everyone else speak first.
Hold on, 1 second. We can't just skip over this, bro. I think we deserve to break down Ghost of Tsushima, the time frame, the storyline along with Ghost of Yotei, so that NLT can actually provide like a more informed opinion.
So yeah, I think honestly for me, like I think what I like about the game in terms of progression is you unlock the fighting styles faster.
Yeah.
The techniques and the fighting styles faster. Now, I think for me personally, as Samantha was watching me play the other day, I cannot stand that ranged weapon. The like blade with the ball and chain. I can't stand it. That's like every person that has it in the game, I try to kill them first because I can't get the timing right on the parries. I can't ever seem to win with that weapon. Now, of course, as what I discovered is I didn't upgrade my stuff, so that's how I got lost in the game. I started just playing, going from here to here. Yeah, I'm going out there, just raw dogging the game, like pause. But
basically, bro, just to break it down. Just to break it down, like Ghost of Tsushima is based on like the 1200s to the 1300s. The main protagonist, his name is Jin. He's a samurai. My preferred preference of games is like single player, especially like samurai games, because the storyline just captures me for whatever reason.
It's really good.
Yeah, so like basically his island is invaded by the Mongols, and he is essentially like the last samurai standing.
Okay.
Just to kind of summarize it for you. Yeah. So he kind of goes through these series of missions where he's, you upgrade along the way as far as fighting tactics and whatnot, where he's basically trying to, reclaim the island, save his uncle. And there's a lot behind that because, again, he was a samurai, so you gotta look, there's title, honor, all of that behind it. So that's essentially that, right? Now, by the end of the game, he's actually deemed an outlaw because some of the guerrilla warfare tactics that he used was deemed as dishonorable.
He was given the choice to fight honorably or to continue down.
Is that the choice that you make as the gamer, though?
So,
or is that just automatically in the story?
So basically,
you never played it either.
No, I'm not a single player.
So it's not a choice that's given into the game. I think it's already built into the game because the character that you meet. What is her name? The chick you meet in the very beginning.
The traitor who saves him.
Yes, when her brother gets killed by the Mongol leader. That's when they essentially go down that path, and she starts to teach you the ways to deceive, and obviously, but when Jin fights his dad, when he fights Lord Sakai, that's when he kind of tells you like if you're losing your samurai way, and he's doing it in a sense to where he's trying to defend Japan. He's trying to defend the island because if they don't fight the way the Mongols are fighting, they're going to lose because they already lost so many samurai at this point.
Yeah, and
I think that is a huge part of the character development and the huge difference in the gameplay because
this does sound like a movie though.
It is a movie in a sense because like Ghost of Yotei or Ghost of Tsushima in a way is like a game that you can play without skipping a single cutscene, and it's like it flows beautifully in the transitions of how the cutscenes are. Mm-hmm. So even if you just go into a random village and there's a cutscene, it's beautiful. Even the fighting scenes with the standoffs, I think the standoffs in Ghost of Yotei, they seem a little bit mismanaged to me, mistimed. I feel like it's like too difficult at times in a way where it's not difficult in the sense of like skill level, but difficult in the sense of they're not 100% complete. It feels
like the timing.
Because like in Ghost of Yotei, they came at you a little bit slower, or excuse me, Ghost of Tsushima, they came at you a little bit slower. In Ghost of Yotei, it's like it's immediate. Yeah, and it's like you literally don't. If you blink, you miss it.
But I think we have to take into account Ghost of Yotei also is set 300 years later, right? The main protagonist is a woman named Atsu, and basically she's on a quest for revenge against what's known as the Yotei Six, right? So I think to your point, far as like the gameplay maybe being a little bit faster in Yotei, that might be just.
Well, I do like it.
The time difference,
Yeah,
you know, maybe
but
like
more so in the sense of not so the gameplay, but more so the pari system, the
Yeah.
standoffs, the stuff like that. So I think those things feel a little bit too.
off.
They feel a little off to me,
Yeah.
and as far as like the timing goes. But I do think that it's nice to see new stances, new weapons, types in the game. You know, obviously you have the twin blades, you have the spear, and then you have obviously the elemental fused attacks with the wolf.
Yeah.
And I like that they added that into the game where you can build the relationship and bond more with the wolf, so that you can, with the howl of Yotei, you know, you can bring the dog into the scenery, the wolf. I do like that. I think that's a huge addition because it really just shows like how connected to the elements and the physical world she was, or animal world, I should say.
I actually have to disagree. I don't know where the wolf came in at.
The wolf comes in the beginning
No,
because
I'm just saying, like, how does that fit into the actual?
in the very beginning of the story.
No. I've seen it from the beginning. I'm just saying, like, it just seems random to me. You know?
In a way, I can see it, but I think it's more so it's fitting because they call her the wolf, little wolf, in the beginning. So it is fitting because I do believe they showed like little scenes in the very beginning with the wolves being there.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I feel.
I got you.
I think it's a cool addition. Now sometimes the connection does seem a little mismanaged because in the beginning of the game, you know, the wolf, if you die, the wolf will save you.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, I'm thinking to myself, like, where the hell did this wolf come from? Because I don't know anything about this wolf. Like, how did the wolf just magically come? And then next thing you know, you have the wolf there. So it was cool that they added that element into the game later, to where you kind of see, you know, when she feeds the fish, and then I like the fact that you can, you know, save the other wolves. I do see the misconnection with why they're killing the wolves. Maybe because I haven't gotten that far in the story arc yet, but I think it's kind of random. It does have random bits, so I agree. I know Samante has he's seen the gameplay of it, and I think we're kind of getting him on the fence of getting it.
That kind of made me want to play the game is when I seen you playing it. Because, like, visually, it looks like a really
it's appealing, yeah. Now here's a question for everyone.
Art or something.
Yeah, here's a question for everyone. Now, in terms of scenery, do you guys prefer the Ghost of Yotei scenery, or do you guys prefer the Ghost of Tsushima scenery? I know I showed Samante a little bit now, just kind of school everybody up. Samante we're trying to get him into single-player games, so this is an unpopular opinion. He is not a single-player video game player. He prefers multiplayers. So
I just feel like it's a lonely experience to play the game by yourself.
which is a crazy outtake. That's a crazy take. I'm sorry.
Do you agree with me?
Bro, I'm just here for moral support, bro. I play Call of Duty and GTA.
But when you play the game, though, you play with your friends, though, right?
Not as a game, but as a gamer, you can speak on it in terms of like how you interact with people. Now, I do agree there are games that, you know, I'm a bit of a balanced person, so I like games that I can play with friends, and then there's some games that I prefer to just solo grind and, you know, just really lock in, and I enjoy the story. Now, there's a bunch of games that I prefer, like I told Samante the other day. Basically for me, any game that's made by Sony or Sucker Punch Studios, I'm all in. Like I'll throw my credit card. I don't care what game. It could be some random game about a gumball machine, and I'll probably buy it. So that's just my opinion. But I think in terms of scenery, I feel like getting back to what.
Now, I'll admit though, like some of the best games that I've seen in recent years are single player games, like Black.
But because they can really focus on the story. Because when you have like when you have a game like, example, Call of Duty, or let's talk about Call of Duty for a second. If you have a game like that, it's difficult because you're balancing like 6 things. You're balancing multiplayer. You're balancing a campaign mode. Now you're balancing Warzone. So, you know, and then with all the characters that they put into the game, you know, the collaborations and stuff like that, it takes away from it, whether people want to admit it or not. It takes away from a part of the game because you can't focus. You know, it's like if you're working on a side project or something. You know, say you're building something or whatever, and you start going around the house, and I build this wall, and then I get sidetracked, and I built this wall, and then I get sidetracked, and so that's essentially how the game feels to me, because there are parts of the games that feel incomplete, and there's a lot of bugs, and that's part of the reason why they can't catch a lot of the cheaters
Right.
because they're too drug apart. And for me, unpopular opinion here, I'll say it since we've gotten sidetracked, but I think Warzone was the death of Call of Duty.
I feel like that was
100%.
the best part of Call of Duty.
I mean,
No.
it was in the beginning.
In the beginning, yes, but because they're trying to keep up with Fortnite. Fortnite was the original, open, or I guess 100v100 we can call it. I don't know the proper term, but that was the original. So I feel like in terms of keeping up with that, it was too difficult for them because Fortnite can collab with anybody. Because now Fortnite did struggle in a bit because they had a single player mode and they had a bunch of other things, but they took it away. So it gets into it, But
I mean, there is a multiplayer co-op that is coming out for Yotei in 2026.
now that would be
Now
good.
that'll make me play it.
Now, so this is similar to what we've seen from, like I said, from Sucker Punch Studios with The Last of Us. The Last of Us had a multiplayer mode that was added on with the PS4 remake.
Yeah.
So again, it's good to see. Like I would be interested to see how that works. So I would be interested to see how that works because it's definitely going to come in handy with. I don't know if they can make it open world, keep it open world. That would be dope because it's
I
like
thought
basically
they did that
like
in the original game though. They
it'd
had
be
an
like
online co-op thing,
yeah,
didn't they?
no. In Ghost of Tsushima, no. Now they do have like it's called like they do have multiple game modes. So you have a new game plus, you have a Legends mode, which I believe I'm not 100% sure what that is, but I think it's online.
No, the Legends mode is just like the hardest level you can play.
Okay.
And yeah, I just can't commit to that type of
So I think I think honestly, it is a bit difficult to me to like. I prefer beating the game and then going back and doing the new game plus because I like to start with the gear as well to see like because then for me I'll start like middle of the pack. I'll start on medium. And then as I start with New Game Plus, then I'll go up a level because obviously I'm starting the game over with additional gear and whatnot. Now, in terms of jumping back to the original question
about the visuals.
The visuals. Now, which now I know he's seen a little bit of it. Money has seen a little bit of it. So,
Yeah.
I think.
My opinion, props to the developers of both though. I think the visuals on both are game changing for real. That's part of the reason why I think Ghost of Tsushima was so impactful because the visuals were next level. I will say in Ghost of Yotei, I feel like they focused too heavy on the visuals though, not enough on the storyline. Because like right now I'm in side quest mode. Like I've only beat one of the 6. You know what I mean? I'm in no rush.
Beat the snake.
Yeah, I only beat the snake, bro. I'm in no rush to do anything else. But I've been seeing like fit checks all across social media. So I'm doing a side quest to get new armor. And I'm gonna be honest, the armor is trash.
Yeah, I do think they mismanaged that
The
with
armor is trash,
in terms of
bro.
like Ghost, where you used to have armor that actually connected to the game. So like, for example, the Ronin armor, you got a massive increase to melee damage, massive increase to defense, and then you also had like the Traveler, which was you unlock 30% of the fog faster. So I think they did do some of it, but I don't think it was enough. They kept the charms, they kept some of the stuff like that. So I think maybe that's why they felt they didn't need to really go too much into the armor. But it would have been nice to see.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a crucial part of gameplay, especially if you're, dealing with any type of like combat, especially with swords or weapons. So yeah, that's my biggest complaint with how they did the visuals overall, because the armor looks dope. Like especially when you're leveled all the way up, it's dope. But the actual like mechanics of it just feels very like
it's a bit weird.
Mechanical.
It's just like, bro, like I just leveled up, I just spent this money, these supplies, and really I'm not getting nothing out of it. So that's my opinion.
Well, that was the only reason that was going to get me to get the game because I was watching him play and I was like, yo, this looks dope as hell.
Oh, for sure.
It looks super dope.
For sure.
Like just the snow in the background, I was like, yeah, this looks super dope.
Yeah, and then you can like adorn it with different charms that can have like different advantages for you.
Yeah.
But overall, the strength of the armor and what the armor kind of resembles to me, it just doesn't really compare to Ghost of Tsushima. So I feel like they focused a lot on how it looked rather than its specific advantages.
I just know me though, and I know this is probably a bad take. I just can't sit down and play the game by myself though. It's equivalent to like going on prom by yourself. It's just sad.
No.
It's sad. Like, why are you
That's a
here by
crazy.
yourself?
That's crazy. Like
That's how. Like, if I'm gonna play the game, I look at it like it's a social event. I'm trying to
When
do
you
it with
read a
friends,
book, do
kicking
you
it.
have to be a part of a book club?
I wait till the movie adaptation come out, and I go with people to go see it.
Alright, but I think the storyline is always the most important part of the game. What is the game?
But I do
trying
admit
to-
though, like the games that are single player games look super dope. Super dope. Like Wolverine got a game coming out, looks super dope. I might have to break my rules to play some of these games. I want to play Ghost of Yotei just from seeing him play it. But I just know me, I'm gonna get bored. There's gonna be some funny shit going on in the game, and it's just gonna be a joke for myself.
I think it'll be difficult or different because from a standpoint of, you really don't understand or know. Like it could be this single player that gets you into that, kind of breaks that realm for you. And I think that you just have to take that leap. I grew up playing a lot of single player games because, obviously growing up, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and 3, we played it. So, I think but the games then, they weren't as graphically capturing or appealing. So, I don't know. I think it's worth a shot.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see. I mean, if I do buy it, I know me. I'm probably gonna put like a couple days or a week solid into it, and I'm just gonna get bored.
I think if you do though, you should start from the beginning. You should do Tsushima then Yotei.
Now you're giving me homework, and
Just
I'm just
saying.
not. I'm probably not. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's worth a shot in my opinion. Now I think you just really have to try it. But both of the games are good. I think those two games will definitely draw you in terms of just the graphics alone. I think the story of Tsushima is definitely better in my opinion because you not only had the main island, you also have Iki Island as well. So this was something that was added on after the fact that Tsushima had came out. So I definitely liked Iki Island because you tapped into more of the I forget what the crow or the raven.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of tapped into that hallucinogenic side where they start dabbling in other things and it was good. I think that Iki Island update that they added was good because you were already at the peak of Tsushima or on the mainland. So once you kind of transitioned over, you had already had majority of your skills, so majority of your fighting styles and stuff. And I think that in Yotei, it's like my biggest thing about it is the fighting styles are not strict. So in Ghost, you would get punished for not using the right fighting style on, say, a heavy sword, or even like a dual wielding swordsmith, or or spears. So you would get very, very heavily criticized on that misuse of the incorrect form. So I think it's definitely good. Now, I think it's just maybe it takes time. Maybe the game is just it is what it is, or maybe it'll get better. But
I don't like all, and this might be unpopular as well. I don't like all the little gameplay things they added in, like cooking your own food. You know what I'm saying? Like forging your own.
You just want to play.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
So
I think it's
that
cool.
would be appealing to me because that's how most MMOs are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to you do the campfire. You have to cook the
You
fish
gotta
and
make your campfire. Bro.
and if you want to upgrade your sword, you have to And I do now. I will say that's unpopular opinion, but I maybe agree with you in some small form. But where I disagree is I like the fact of how they incorporated it to the controller.
Man,
Which I know. If you don't like it, you're not gonna like it. But
bro, let me go find some rations so I can heal instead of making me camp, and then I gotta cook. You know what I mean? It's like
What it sounds
10
like is you
steps
just don't want
about-
your revenge bad enough.
See, there you go.
All right, so let's give it our final rankings on Ghost of Yotei. You said you give it a 6 out of 10,
6 out of 10.
and you gave it a what?
8.5.
I'm gonna go ahead and just make a leap of faith and give it a 10 out of 10. Solid. As a person who don't have no experience in this franchise, never played the game,
That sounds crazy.
I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 for vibes alone.
Now I think
I'm gonna give it a 2.
You gonna give it a 2?
A 2?
NLT give it a 2.
Now I think another cool thing. So, kind of jumping back into the little tiny things that they add. Now I do like how we'll kind of jump into both realms here. So starting Ghost of Yotei, I do like the fact that they add little things like when you do the bamboo strikes to increase your swordsmanship. I think that's what it's called. You get the little the foxes that dance on the side. Now it's just a cheeky little animation, but it's a cheeky little animation. But I think it's cool. Now, and another thing that I think would have been cool to see in this game is if they would have built it. In Ghost of Tsushima, they had a hidden morality system. So the more people that you fought honorably, the system would actually reflect the weather as such. So if you fought people and you challenged them to standoffs, you would have more sunshine and cherry blossoms during the game. And if you assassinated people and you killed them with poison and do things that are not of the samurai way, then you would have a lot of rain, clouds, bad weather overall. But I wish they would have done that in the same sense, because then it would have kept the story. But it is a revenge arc,
Yeah,
so I
but
guess
they can't though, because like Atsu isn't a samurai. She wasn't taken in by anybody and trained in that manner, right?
But technically that makes her a Ronin.
I mean, technically, yes.
Because if her family's killed, and her family was a swordsmith family,
Correct.
so if her family was killed, now granted, her dad might have been a samurai or maybe not. We don't know. Yeah, we don't 100% know, but I think that it technically makes her a Ronin.
Yeah, but my whole thing with that is she has to have some type of morality from the beginning. And from the beginning, her only sense of direction has been revenge.
Yeah, that's true.
So
No, because okay, so see, you haven't gotten far enough yet, because there is you fought only one of the Yotei 6, so if you fight the Kitsune actually you see different. You'll see a different story, and it's actually good to see, because everyone is saying that seems a bit of a revenge arc, which is cool. Like I like the whole concept of it, but there is a tone of forgiveness in when you fight the Kitsune, and you have to get to that. Obviously, I don't want to spoil it, but once you get to it, I feel like it will change your opinion on it. So I think we should switch topics now. Let's jump into Demon Slayer. But before we jump into Demon Slayer, what's one character from Demon Slayer that you would think would go great in Ghost of Yotei or even Ghost of Tsushima? Now I know we're all somewhat a little bit of the anime expertise here, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I think I would like to see Sanemi or Obanai. So definitely 100% for me.
Any character from Demon Slayer would just be OP.
I think definitely. Like now, let's take it even a step further. Let's leave out the technique. Let's just base it off of just their swordsmanship alone.
All right. The technique is such a big part. Okay.
Like take out the wind breathing, the mist breathing, the fire breathing. Like I think it would definitely be like a character like Rengoku. Like I'll give you 3: Rengoku for sure, Sanemi, and definitely Obanai. Those are my takes.
I think mine would be Tanjiro, and I know that seems probably too upfront.
I mean, that's a main character arc though.
MC for a reason.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the way
he goes crazy though. He goes crazy, like
smacking folks around, and I like the fact that he has a strong moral compass. You know what I mean? I think in all of his monologues you see right before his fight scenes, like he's reminding the demons of their morality.
Okay, all right, hold on, wait a minute. So we're thinking about taking a person from Demon Slayer with none of their breathing techniques and putting them into like a conflict where they got to go against Mongols and stuff.
Correct.
Right? And you think Tanjiro would be fit to task without his breathing techniques?
Yeah, I do.
I would have to disagree, because in the whole arc of Demon Slayer, his breathing style and techniques have saved him countless times. Like, so we can even go back to the very first season of Demon Slayer, and obviously he was struggling with the water technique, the water breathing, and he almost died, and then it comes out. Then we can go into the second season, Mugen Train, same thing. Well, actually, Mugen Train technically no, it wasn't the breathing technique that saved him. It was actually Inosuke who saved him because Tanjiro almost killed himself.
That's who I think would do well.
Inosuke?
Of course,
Inosuke has a crazy personality.
He a beast. He's legit a beast. Like, bro, just be out there.
He does have a crazy personality.
He go crazy. Like,
but he did save him in the Mugen Train.
Yeah.
So, because Tanjiro couldn't distinguish between what the dream was and he was actually awake. So he did save him. So in Mugen Train, I would say it wasn't a breathing technique. But now when we get to entertainment districts, 100%. The Hino Kami Kagura saved him 100% because who is it? Dalma and Sight. I can't remember the names, but
but you just mentioned Inosuke.
Inosuke.
Yeah. My apologies, bro. He
is a bit
irrational.
off. Yeah, he is a
you know
bit
what I'm saying?
off.
He's gonna be out there headbutting folks.
But Tanjiro too. Every time Tanjiro loses his sword, every time.
He do be headbutting.
Oh, you remember in the in before the Mugen Train when they bring him in front of the master, you know, Sanemi stabbed the box with Nezuko in it, and what Tanjiro did, bro, came flying across the scene.
That's his sister.
Headbutting him. I mean, but like even in Infinity Castle, we can jump into Infinity Castle. Bro lost his sword.
Yeah, he did.
And straight up, he punched Buddy. He punched him like, and I'm like,
okay, I see what you're saying about Tanjiro now. Bro got heart. Though.
Bro,
he got heart.
He do got heart, but
he got heart. But I agree with Sanemi though, because
Sanemi is tough, bro. The Wind Hashira is tough.
He a beast.
I think obviously
that was gonna be my other person, Inosuke and Sanemi.
So and now we jumping into the Infinity Castle.
I got one more person before we jump to the next. What's Sanemi's brother?
Oh man, what is his name? I know you're talking about the dude with the shotgun.
With this dude with the shotgun.
Yeah.
And the only reason I would choose him because he got a shotgun.
He got a shotgun, and he eats demons. He eats the demons.
Cannibal, you know what I'm saying?
He does eat the demons. So he's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Now I think
going crazy now.
Now another there's breaking down Demon Slayer as we kind of talk about it. There's so much in the manga and even in the anime that they drop. The creators, they drop so many little hints in the anime. Like, for example, when Muzan, aka Michael Jackson Kibutsuji, comes into the scene.
Michael Jackson is crazy. Bro.
I mean, hey, bro, you've seen the scenes where he comes into Smooth Criminal. Like, come on now. Like, he does look like Michael Jackson, bro. Like, it's crazy.
I never put that together.
But it's crazy. So, he comes into, I don't know if everyone's seen or remembers the final scene before, I think it's Swordsmith Village was the last arc. So when Muzan actually finds the village and he enters the village, but a lot of people think that was fog. That actually was not fog. That was Muzan's skin burning because they had wisteria flowers, which wisteria flowers were actually big against the demons that they were fighting against. It kept them kind of hidden. So with the wisteria flowers, that's why you see the smoke. It looks like fog, but it's actually his skin burning. And it is crazy. Like the subtle just techniques and hints that they put into the anime is absolutely insane. Now, and this goes with any anime. Every anime has like its little underlying themes, but I think that jumping into coming from the Swordsmith Village, obviously we had Takedo who took out one of the upper ranks, and coming back and having the master. I can't think of the dude's name to save my life.
You talking about Neji?
Not Neji. Yeah, he looks like Neji, but yes, Ubayashiki. So when Ubayashiki sacrifices himself, now they kind of didn't hint on it. They didn't talk about it until Infinity Castle. But Ubayashiki only told Guillaume that he was going to sacrifice himself because he knew that it was the only thing that could get him close to Muzan. Which was cool because, we really haven't seen so much of Guillaume. We hadn't seen too much of Sanemi. We hadn't seen too much of Obanai. Obviously, we knew about Giyu. We knew about Tanjiro. We knew about, Zenitsu. And,
let's be honest though, this has to be the best anime movie ever.
Yeah. And that goes along with the budget, yeah, because,
100%.
So when you look at the difference between Mugen Train's budget was about 20,000.
Okay.
And the budget for Infinity Castle was actually 20 million. So that's why every year it just seems like Demon Slayer that UFO told the anime creators. It seems like every year they just go above and above and above. And it's like 2027 and 2029. I can only imagine.
I think Demon Slayer definitely
the animation takes
themselves with this movie.
Yeah, the animation takes
it. Top 3. Top
I would
three of
say
all time.
I would say 100% for me. Like,
And I know you don't want to say money, but it's the truth. It's top 3 of all time, bro. Not just that, to dive into the actual movie itself, Infinity Castle, right? I loved how much they gave more of a backstory to each character, human or demon.
Yeah.
I think that in and of itself speaks volumes as well. You kind of got to humanize the villains, and I think that was also a good addition. You know?
now, I will agree with you on that because the opening scene when the Bug Hashira fights Dalma.
Shinobu.
Yeah.
Shinobu. No, Dalma is crazy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that, the fact that, you know, he was like, you know, it kind of didn't click with me. So he's like, you know, they live with me forever. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, I'm watching the movie, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, so I'm trying to process everything that's, going on. And it's like, and, you know, and there's subtle little hints, like, you know, Shinobu starts actually poisoning him to see where the tolerance would go. And it's actually, it makes it seem like to the viewers that, you know, people don't realize that, you know, they think it's a failing game. So actually when Dalma kills her and absorbs her, she had actually been absorbing toxins herself, the poison herself, to deliver like an even crazier lethal dosage. Yeah. So when Dalma was actually absorbing her and she gave the hand signal to the other Hashira, that wasn't a hand signal for her to attack. It was a hand signal for her to letting her know that everything is going according to the plan that they built. So not only are we seeing things that occurring off screen that they're giving us hints to, but it's like we're seeing it in real time. So like there's things that happen in the background that we knew nothing about.
Like the breakdown you just gave made it sound real heroic, but I hated seeing her die though.
Yeah. Now she went crazy. She went hard
crazy,
before
but
she went out.
Doma is like on my top op list now. He's right over there with Mojito. I can't stand Mojito. He's right over there with Mojito and Frieza. Like
so you know,
So
you know, it's actually crazy because, you know, and another good thing, like, you know, that a lot of people don't realize. So Zenitsu's fight, you know, we don't talk about Zenitsu's fight actually.
Hey, he went crazy.
So it was probably like
he went crazy.
The second best fight of the movie.
Yeah, first of all, I'm so proud of my dog.
Yeah.
Because knowing how, but I do feel like he gets to a certain point, once he's triggered, you kind of see that side of him.
I feel like he's been triggered ever since he got that letter.
Facts.
Ever since he got that letter, it's been up for him. He's been stuck like that.
Now, Kaigaku was actually not supposed to be, so he was actually given the upper rank demon slot of 6th, but because there is no 5th rank. There is no 5th. Muzan didn't deem, he didn't have anyone that was actually strong enough to become 5th rank, upper rank 5 or upper moon 5. Okay. So that's why there is no spot. So you go from 4, so you have 1 to 4, and then 5 is gone, and then you have 6. So there is no, so him fighting him, I was definitely kind of shocked because, you know, in the Japanese culture, you know, it's a big thing to, if you do kill yourself, you know, it's a big thing that, you know, someone is there with you. Otherwise, it's technically like, and they deem it as, you know, a slow and painful death, and it's even worse than doing it with someone who would have been there to sever your head. Yeah. So I think that was a big thing for him when he saw the note. And, you know, to most people, they didn't realize it. Because that Infinity Castle arc, or excuse me, the Swordsmith Village arc was crazy. The amount of detail and things that led up into the Infinity Castle arc was crazy. Yeah, they foreshadowed it like crazy because I knew as soon as I saw the scene, Zenitsu falling into the Infinity Castle and just like locked in, I'm like, oh man, this dude's about to go crazy.
Yeah.
Like he's about to go crazy.
Sleepwalking. He
was
woke. Because Zenitsu in every fight, bro goes in, but he's asleep.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I wonder what he could do if he's actually conscious and has enough.
And you seen what he did.
He
made a new breathing technique.
Bro,
he was like
the fourth wall, bro.
He did.
He said, did you make a...
He said, what?
He said, I can't believe it. I'm a demon and he made his own breathing technique.
So... And it's interesting to see because, you know, when you see like the contradictions between demons, like every demon is not just, you know, bad essentially. Like you know, they started in something form of good, but you know, then something traumatic happens, or like we look at Akaza for example. Akaza is my favorite demon. So Akaza was my favorite.
I think he's everybody's favorite.
Because not only that, but it goes along the lines that Akaza was one of the only demons who remembered his past. But because he's been alive for so long, he he forgot. Like he remembered initially, but then as he became, he was the only demon with a code.
I feel like all of them are like that though, aren't
No,
they?
they're not.
Hold on, I will say like
Dalma remembers, but Dalma remembers because that's essentially like what he built his thing on. That's why I talk about the contradiction between demons, because Dalma was like that when he was human.
Yeah, because he was
So
worshipped.
he was worshipped. So
Yeah.
he just maintained that in the demon life. But when you look at Akaza was the only demon who didn't kill women and children.
But I wouldn't say that, okay, all demons aren't bad. I will say I like the backstory because it allowed us to humanize them, right?
Yeah, in a way, yes.
In a way. But I wouldn't necessarily say that. Some of them transformed in the pursuit of power. Like, some of them wasn't
Yeah,
necessarily...
like Zenitsu brother.
Yeah, like it wasn't
Kaigaku,
a
yeah.
traumatic
Kaigaku definitely
event.
did, yeah.
Yeah, they chose that in the pursuit of, I want to get to this certain position. So I wouldn't say that speaks
And
to
the-
good character.
The Sunbreather's brother did that too, right?
I believe so. I might be incorrect, but yeah. But
Which one?
The
Rengoku?
No, not Rengoku. The original guy.
Yoriichi.
Yeah, the one who messed up Muzan.
No, Yoriichi died. Yoriichi died from something, but we kind of see that. But in the beginning of the season, you see that he does, he's training them, but he doesn't teach it to them as a fighting technique. So that's why they didn't know that the Hinokami Kagura was a fighting technique. They just thought it was a dance that they had to do, every once in a while for like the summer solstice, I believe it was, or something like that. But they didn't know it was actually a fighting technique. So that's when you see when Tanjiro goes back and they talk about his dad. Like his dad, he passed the dance on to him, which is why you saw him transition into the in between world, or I believe, or whatever they called it. But that's why you saw the transition where he kind of goes in between the realities, and that's what his dad was always doing. So he realized like his dad would, give people a choice because he was a lot more stronger than people let on to be.
His father.
Yeah, his father.
Yeah.
But that's because of the dance. Because they said even then, like you practice it so many times that it just becomes natural.
it's an extension of you.
It's an extension.
But I'm talking about the creator of that. His brother turned into a demon in pursuit of power too, right?
Kaigaku.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kaigaku only became a demon because he knew that
He couldn't beat his brother.
that he was favored more than he was. So like the master favored him, but in reality, he actually was wrong because he actually favored both of them, and I think that talks just touch on a big theme, like when in like relationships with like brothers and stuff like that. A lot of times you see something that's not really how you think it is.
Yeah.
So especially for them as demons, because for him to one die so quickly, which is crazy, and two, he just to become a demon in spite of, because you weren't the favorite. That's crazy. I mean, and even then he didn't become stronger. Like he didn't become stronger. Now he did get a couple good hits on him. Obviously because Zenitsu is, let's be honest, he hasn't fought like conscious.
Yeah.
So it was definitely good to see that, but to see him actually just like lock in.
That was a really good fight.
Yeah.
That was a really good fight. I feel like he wasn't really losing in that fight.
No, 100%. I don't think he was losing, but I think it's just like it overwhelmed him at first. Now, initially, I think if the battle had set in and he didn't get hit with the technique that was actually like eating away at his skin. I can't remember the technique name, but I think he would have actually like settled into the fight nicely. It's almost like Tanjiro. Every time we see Tanjiro fight, he kind of like takes a little bit to kind of find his rhythm, and then he gets.
But I think that's actually speaks volumes. I mean, you gotta look like technically they're like teenagers, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like 12.
Yeah.
So I think Guillaume is the
anime
oldest.
world shit.
Yeah.
So like,
But I think the Guillaume is the oldest. Now it does.
He's like what, 17, 18 or something?
I think he's 15 or 16.
I think the one thing
Yeah, he's a grown ass man.
that really
He's the biggest too. I think in anime, according to the anime online, I think he's in the books he's 6'9". So
Yeah,
he's
like
30.
not realistic.
Yeah.
He's 30.
Now and another thing that I liked about obviously stating that Akaza is my favorite demon. It was nice to see him get his fair share, but because he killed my boy Rengoku, R.I.P. But like I was hurt, man. I was in the movie theater crying, like no cap. I was in the movie theater crying.
Let me
When
ask
Rengoku
you this,
died, I was
because
like,
you're not the only person to feel this way. I just want to know why you have that connection with Rengoku, because we didn't really see Rengoku until this moment, right before he was about to die.
It's not so much the.
That's the only time we get an establishment with him at that point.
It's just his character, like like that never give up, never quit character. Just like fight to the end.
But when he died, I didn't get no fuck. I was like, okay, yeah, it's supposed to happen. Yeah,
Now I think now, of course, yeah, and I think we can kind of
kill me for that take.
Yeah, you might get run.
I know he's beloved. He's beloved.
But you know what, Rengoku. I think people just loved Rengoku because of the speech. The speech was fire. Like that kind of elevated Mugen Train, in my opinion. The fact that one Hashira, along even not even just. Let's just jump back here. Not even talking about Mugen Train, but the scene before Mugen Train, where Rengoku saves the same family that his dad had saved, and she says, I think I've seen you before, and he says, I think you're referring to my father, and again, like it's just that fight in him, like he had that dog in him, low key, because he defended like 10 trains at once, bro.
He wasn't weak. I'm not saying he was weak. I'm just saying there wasn't really no time for us to really connect with him as a character before he died.
No, I think that was a bit intentional because even jumping into Entertainment District, you see Giyu, or not Giyu, excuse me. You see Uzui Tengen, and he's talking to himself, and he says, he's asking Rengoku because everyone looked up to Rengoku. When Rengoku died, it was literally like a shockwave to everybody because they knew at that point. If he was one of the stronger swordsmith that they had, if he couldn't beat an upper rank demon, then they were feeling more so doomed because they're like, okay, well, if he couldn't do it and he was one of the strongest, then how can we do it? And so it kind of felt like it's just like it's not so much that the character itself, but it's the meaning behind it of how he dies, and it kind of sends a shockwave into the Hashira world. And going back into Entertainment District, when you see Giyu and he asks Rengoku, he says, "I don't know if I'm strong enough. Like, how would you handle this?" And that's like that was a good scene for me because he says like I correct me if I'm wrong, but he says, although we don't see eye to eye, like you basically got it. Like you're strong enough to do this, and we don't give enough props to Uzui. Uzui Tengen was him to beat an upper rank which. Believe I could be wrong, but the demons the demon that he killed, both of them, the twins or whatever, they should have actually been upper rank 6 rather than Kaigaku, because they were stronger than Kaigaku. It took longer for them to take them down, but
they got introduced earlier in the show too, though.
No,
this is before they had their training arc. And they actually was training with.
This was Entertainment District. Entertainment District happened before Infinity or
that's what I'm saying. Village, so. When they got introduced, it was before like the Tanjiro and Inosuke and Zenitsu actually went on a training arc and all that stuff.
Yeah,
all that with the.
But see, even then, like you saw. Now I think this is where I can agree. Going back to what Wash says when she says that. Tanjiro would have been a good fit in Yotei. I think after Swordsmith Village, yes. Oh, yes, 100%. Because he fights Yorichi's hidden device to make him stronger. And that's why you saw in an Infinity Castle, he was a much better swordsman. Now, jumping back to Infinity Castle, because there's another hidden kind of thing there, where essentially Giyu's fighting Akaza, and he gets the mark, and that essentially, but it showed because even when Akaza, when Giyu got the mark, Akaza elevated even farther than he was before, but like when he got the mark, so it even proved like even if Rengoku had the mark, he would not have defeated him because Akaza literally, his fight, which is why he's one of my favorite demons, upper rank demons, not just because of his backstory, but because of his needle compass technique. Basically, everyone has a fighting style. Everyone has like a fighting spirit in them. So like to go against someone who literally has like a magnet to your attacks is crazy because anything you throw at him, he's just gonna attack. He's just gonna basically deflect it with ease. Yeah. So he's not wasting, and obviously because these people are human, he's a demon. He could do this all day. You might get a good couple hours, maybe 3-4, and you're starting to get defeated. And that's where we saw with Rengoku that we never picked up on it, because when Rengoku got stronger, what did Akaza do? Akaza elevated again. So it definitely makes it made the fight interesting to me, because as we saw Giyu get stronger, then he definitely elevated. And it's interesting because even Giyu fighting, because he didn't want to be the water Hashira.
Right.
So it's interesting to see him fight with the water technique as he's elevated, because even then he's still the best water Hashira, that even if he didn't want to be it or not, he was good. And it talks about obviously them going in, and it just, I think that battle was good. Like it consumed the majority of the movie to me, but it was the best battle, because obviously to see Akaza and Giyu get stronger, and then you have Tanjiro coming in and kind of slicing in between the realities and taking out Akaza, it definitely makes it just so much better in my opinion. And I think even going into Akaza's backstory, where we kind of talked about the underlying arcs in the demons, where I say he remembered that he was human is because the marks on his skin. Obviously, we know he has the 3 marks because he was a thief, or he committed crimes in his village, so they gave him the marks. But the marks on his chest is actually his wife's name. It's not anything related to the tattoos that they had gave him before that. It was actually related to his wife, so that he could remember her. If I'm not wrong, I believe that was the way I read it. So it's interesting. It's good to see, because Hakuji meant Hakuji, which is Akaza before, as we saw in his upbringing or arc, we could call it. And it's interesting to see, because a lot of people realized it, but that I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who trained him, essentially, that was Channing Tatum. So it's kind of cool to see Channing Tatum play in an anime.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool because it fit perfectly.
Right.
But
I will say though, bro, Akaza is tough. Akaza tough.
Yeah.
Man. I think that battle. I'm excited to see if I don't know if we'll necessarily see this battle within the next movie, but Muzan.
I don't think
Well, he'll be 2029. So I think that even before Akaza became a demon, bro killed 60-something people in a dojo with his bare hands.
What matchup do you want to see?
Muzan?
Yeah.
I don't think nobody could go 1-1 with Muzan.
No.
Man. I think I at least.
Who do you guys think will be the first Hashira to die?
Hey, bro, don't say that. I was already emotional, man.
You already know who's gonna be the first one to die.
Who?
The motherfucker that be crying all the time, bro.
Nah.
Ain't no room for tears in this world, man.
Who? Which one is that?
That's the stone one.
Guillaume?
Yeah.
No.
Nah, bro.
He gonna be the first one.
No.
Nah, bro.
Well, after Chernobyl, he gonna be the first one.
Nah, bro. I can't see that one.
Well, I guess
nobody is cold.
I guess
No,
technically.
he cold.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
nah.
my favorite one. But
So
he be
Guillaume
crying.
doesn't die, but I think.
What do you mean he doesn't? Is that a manga spoiler? You
no.
gotta let us have our theories, bro.
No. Guillaume doesn't die, but I think, just in terms of speaking, I think that Guillaume, even if we didn't talk about the manga, leaving that out, I think that Guillaume, obviously, he's the strongest for a reason.
Yeah, he's the strongest. For
So
sure.
I think even him going toe to toe with Muzan by himself before all the other Hashira got there, that clearly proves that he's the strongest. And actually, this is another underlying theory with the fight that we will see in 2027 between Guillaume and Kokoshibo, that Kokoshibo cannot actually fight Guillaume to his fullest potential, because the weapon that Guillaume uses is actually built with metals that actually hurt demons.
You talking about
more.
the Upper Moon one?
Upper Moon 1, yes,
Yeah.
Kokoshibo. And Kokoshibo actually cannot defend his attacks because his blade is made from his body. So the weapon that he uses, there's a specific type of metal that's why the demons have such stronger blades against demons, because they have a specific metal that I guess is more damaging to demons. That's why it's some demons it's easier for them to decapitate them and so on and so forth. But Kokoshibo will have a hard time fighting Guillaume simply because of the weapon that he uses. Because Guillaume, like I said, Kokoshibo's weapon is made from his body. So it's like an attachment of his body.
Yeah, I got my money on Guillaume and Tanjiro Honestly, I think those two, because I feel like Tandro, like I said, like he broke the fourth wall.
Well,
like,
we know
him being able to like
Yeah.
actually like fight without malice, because that's basically what it is to not have any fighting spirit. There's no malice when he's fighting.
Who are you talking about, Gilman?
No,
No,
Tandro.
Tandro. Now he does have a good morality in a sense because, like a moral compass because he has reason built in my opinion. I feel like he has reason built into everything. Now I think that it's going to take all of them. So I think that realistically in 2027 the fight we will see will actually be Takedo fighting Kokoshibo first. And then Guillaume will fight Kokoshibo afterwards. So I think we'll see in 2029 all of them. And like we said, they cannot. This is a theory of mine that obviously everyone kind of knows from Infinity Castle and the Swordsmith Village, but decapitating Muzan won't be enough. So it's going to be a crazy fight because even if they do manage to decapitate him, they will have to keep him outside because the only thing that can kill him is the sun at this point. So I think that it will be crazy to see Tandro him elevating even further.
Yeah.
Because
are you saying Takedo's gonna die?
Yes.
Is that what you think?
Takedo will die actually because Takedo is not.
I gotta be careful how I ask you questions because I don't want definite answers from you.
Takedo will be the one to die because essentially he's not the strongest. Now he is a Mist Hashira, but you have to think Kokoshibo's seen them all. He's been alive the longest. I think he's been alive like what, just as long as Muzan himself. So it's kind of
he's definitely the strongest, right, after Muzan.
Kokoshibo?
Yeah,
they're actually just as equally strength in strength because they're not. Although he became a demon from Muzan, but because he was the first demon, his blood is actually more similar to Muzan's.
Yeah, so like kind of as more demons spawn, they get further away.
They get further away. Now Nezuko actually is also just as close because her blood is directly from Muzan, but she's closer, which kind of makes things
make no sense. A little bit.
That's why she was able to conquer the sun. And that's why Muzan wants to find her, but
that was his whole mission of keeping
conquer the
demons, right? To keep, and then he was gonna eat her.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you think the Upper Moon 1, if he never became a demon, do you think he would have been able to kill Muzan? Because if he's like on par with his twin, almost.
Kokoshibo?
Yeah.
Kokoshibo actually, because they're not really in a sense like he's not under him. But he's more so like they're business partners. So I think from a sense that definitely makes it easier for them. So I think that it doesn't make it easier, but they're more so business partners. So it doesn't make it necessarily harder or easier for them to kill each other because again they're on the same level in my opinion. Because him being up rank 1, he has to be just as strong as Muzan. If not, because obviously if you don't have your strongest demon can't defend you, then, I feel like you're just kind of screwed at that point.
I think overall, even the layout of the Infinity Castle has so many different themes and like motifs to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think what they're really symbolizing is how like Muzan's desire for immortality or this ability to conquer the sun really kind of has him trapped. You know what I mean? Kind of.
Yeah, because now he's trapped. Yeah, for sure. Because he's stuck in the Infinity Castle, regenerating. Because in Infinity Castle, Swordsmith Village, you see how he gets poisoned, and that basically like hindered his ability to regenerate. So he had to go and go back and regenerate himself and heal himself. That's why you see him in that kind of blood cocoon, I guess we could call it. But nonetheless, I think that even seeing Kokoshibo for the final film, the final portion of the film was crazy. Like there's just the level of strength that dude has, destroying half of that room in like the blink of an eye. It's insane. So I think seeing Kokoshibo fight will be next tier to me. Like, and to say that, you know, they had $20 million budget and they grossed $570 million. I can only imagine in 2027 the amount of money they'll probably put 40 million up, and then they'll probably, you know, it'll be insane. Like even just now when you look back at Mugen Train and you look back at the first season, the animation itself has grown tremendously, and I shout out to Youthful Told for that, because it's insane. Like you can't, like, even when I go back and watch clips from Mugen Train, it's hard to believe that this is the same anime, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's really hard to believe because the visual doesn't seem, even the animation and the sound effects are dramatically increased.
Yeah.
So
let's go back to what you were saying about the themes, though.
Like,
I want you to finish unpacking that.
I mean that was just the main thing that, like, I picked up. I think this quest in and of itself is just really a trap, and how the Infinity Castle, how it's laid out, the never-ending factor of it. I think that all ties into that underlining theme. So I'm kind of curious to see how they explore like that,
like future themes or whatever.
Yeah, and then where that takes them and how they have to defeat Muzan, because they're basically in his territory.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, which is why you see the I believe they're quadruplets, the Uba Yashiki kids.
Yeah, and that was a plot twist.
That was so dope.
Yeah.
That reveal was so dope.
Yeah. That was crazy. I also kind of like how they also showed, like, in a sense, like, their ancestors that they lost talking to them and, like, still guiding them and leading them. I think that was a pretty dope aspect of it as well.
It was cool, like, to see, like, even the ravens, like the crows, or excuse me, ravens, or are they ravens or crows?
I think they were ravens.
They're crows or ravens.
I don't know.
But it's even
I was waiting
cool
for Itachi to pop out of there. So
but it's cool to see that they, you know, and I think that I saw somewhere online that they said that it's like essentially the next anime that they make in 2027. I think that they said the Infinity Castle it's huge. Like, it's basically going to be like a city scale. So to see them kind of elaborating on that, you know, mapping it out in this first half is insane, because it's like every time I see them put a piece of paper on, I'm like, damn, how many pieces of paper are they going to go through?
They was
cooking, bro. They was in there cooking, like, you know, don't give up.
What were some themes that stood out to you, though?
The themes that stood out to me, definitely, I think, like, you know, the biggest theme for me in Infinity Castle is you know, like, you can't forget your history. Like, you know, you can't, like, as much as you want to forget your past, you know, it always comes back. Like, we even see Akaza, like, Kokoshibo was very upset that Akaza didn't surpass him.
Yeah, because he wanted to.
Because he, you know, he respected Akaza very, very much, because if anyone that, you know, he didn't use weapons. He was just straight hands.
He didn't understand, like, why bro would just give up like that either.
Yeah. Now, and it like, to them it feels like a waste, because they wasted Muzan's blood to you know, obviously convert him to a demon. But I definitely think that the Akaza part of the story definitely took the whole movie for me, because, you know, we knew he had a sad backstory, and, you know, to see, like, even the scene that gets me every time is, like, the fireworks. You know, when she was very sick, she's very sick, and he, like, you know, they want to go see the fireworks, and he says, you know, we can, you know, we have a couple years to go see it. You know, we can go back every year and do this. So to see that, you know, that his wife and also his sensei was murdered or poisoned, it definitely, like, I feel like was the spiral for him, because he didn't necessarily want to live, but he didn't necessarily want to die.
So that was the biggest take from me. Like, the thing that I seen the most in there was, like, people trying to fill a void. Even with Doma.
I mean, bro got punched in the face. Like, Muzan punched through his whole fucking face, and was like, and he's just like, dude, I don't care. Like, you know, like, he didn't care. So
that movie was so beautifully written.
But I think even to pivot from that, I think, like, if we look at it on a bigger scale, it's like, what are you left with if you shed your humanity, in a sense, right? Yeah. Like, what are you left with without any sense, any moral compass? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, right? And we saw that too, because he struggled. Like, I want to become stronger. And then he says, no, well, I want to go back to her. And then we saw, like, that internal clash, because he wanted to surpass those heights, but obviously because of, you know, he wanted to be reunited with with essentially his new family.
That was the only way they can kill bro off. Like,
yeah.
He had to think about it.
Bro got his head cut off and then regenerated his head. Like, he was regenerated. So if he can do this, then imagine what Muzan can do.
Yeah.
I think Muzan could lose his head and immediately jump right back in and regenerate his head almost spontaneously.
Yeah.
Because as we saw, like, even when he was trapped, it didn't make a difference.
No, it did make a difference.
It made a difference,
He was
but in
sitting
terms
there,
of
he was getting.
But only because when he was basically speared, like she put her arm through his midsection, that is because she consumed something to kind of like paralyze him.
Yeah.
So had it would have just been where they had him trapped, he would have broke out of it easily.
Yeah, for sure. But
because majority was like
the whole
blood.
plan, though, that's why I think Neji is cold in this. Like Neji leaving Naruto, coming over to the Demon Slayer world was the best decision he could have made.
But Ubayashiki and Muzan are related.
Yeah.
So if he would have killed Muzan, then every person in his family doesn't live past the age of 30.
Mm-hmm.
So when Muzan dies, obviously then his family can be reborn.
Yeah.
So we kind of wonder what that's going to look like with the kids. That and it's only been 2 years, and they went from being 5-year-olds to 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
It looks insane to me, but I think definitely this was a huge.
Let me ask another question. I'm gonna start with you, Wash. What do you think the future in anime is gonna look like now with Demon Slayer breaking all these records globally?
I think first of all,
You think we're gonna get people like NLT enjoying anime and actually watching it?
Oh, 100%. I think as it grows, I think people are going to be able to identify a lot of the underlying themes that speak to them. You know what I mean? And I just think, again, this same way I feel about gaming. The storyline is what's going to drive it.
Yeah.
And I think Demon Slayer is one of those, like I said, it's definitely top 3 of all time.
I think anime in general has been killing it
with
story-driven. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so many good anime out here, and you can tell they actually have a direction. It's not like you just sat down and threw something together and saw what would stick.
Yeah, there's a lot of animes out right now that have just insane storylines.
Yeah, so I do think that Demon Slayer, I think for a lot of people, it's going to be their gateway anime.
It's an anime?
Yeah, they're going to come in and they're going to be wow, where can I go after this?
Yeah.
And it's just going to open up so many possibilities.
Wow, I can't believe that I actually agree with your take, because you got some wild takes, and we're going to eventually explore all those takes
crazy.
Later on in this series or whatever, because you got some wild takes, but I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I think coming from, obviously, and now who knows? We could see even with Ghost of not Ghost of Yotei but with Demon Slayer, we're seeing they come out with games now. Now, I'm one of those people. I don't play anime games. I did fall
Kind of cold though.
But I did get the first Demon Slayer game, and it wasn't necessarily bad, but it just was eerily repetitive in my opinion. So now, and this could change because there could be a bigger fan base for people who want an anime game. So this could definitely change in the future.
Well, I like the anime games because they're definitely online.
They kind of hinge off the story, which is good. But you could, and that's where another thing where they could kind of break that realm is say they could be the first people to make a game that's actually playable. That's actually crazy.
I think they will have to take a different direction.
I think now this could be. They could bring
a different twist to it, not something completely different.
It would have to be off story.
Yeah, it has to be. But they've done such a good job curating the actual storyline. Yeah. I don't know why it wouldn't translate to gameplay. Maybe.
But I think maybe you bring another studio in.
Yeah,
maybe you bring like Sucker Punch, or you bring definitely someone that has the kind of experience of a samurai style game. Yeah. You could have basically a Ninja Gaiden, or those types of creators maybe collaborate on a game that could come together and become something that's actually playable. But I think in terms of the anime itself, I'm excited to
They
see.
got an anime game out right now that's like killing it. I don't know if you guys are seeing the gameplay or even the trailer for it. It's called like Anada or something like that.
No, I haven't.
It's like an open world RPG anime style game. They got like some really good reviews on it.
The only games that I've been seeing that I also want to actually play and like review at some point is Expedition 33 and Silent Hill. But I don't do horror games, so we'll see how that goes.
No, I think
Expedition 33. That's like the Final Fantasy style gameplay or whatever.
turn-based style, I believe. I think it is, but I think 100%. Like I agree with Wash here. I mean, I'm a big horror game player, so for me, like I will. Never been in the Silent Hill, but there are a couple Resident Evil PS5 remakes or remasters that I think they just remastered Resident Evil 4.
Can't do it, bro.
Yeah,
I
your
love it,
rational
man.
fears are.
but just don't appeal to me.
Nah, bro. I see a zombie, I'm out.
Yeah.
So I guess here's a question for both of you guys. Would you do you guys think that the Ghost of Yotei's combat system would work as an anime fight sequence? Like, would it incorporate well into an anime, or how do you guys think? No?
Nah.
You guys think no?
Nah, because anime is so like elaborate with the combat power system and power scaling or whatever.
Yeah.
Nah, unless you're talking about like an anime like
No, because it's just like even when I play Dragon Ball Z,
Samurai Champloo or something like that.
Yeah, I play Dragon Ball Z, and like the combo system is nothing how the mechanics of
the show.
Ghost of Yotei. Like, it's not like you can switch between a different stance or weapon. Like, you kind of got to know which combo and when to like punch that in.
Yeah, I think I can kind of agree. Like, I think that it's more along the lines of like button mashing at times, because it's like playing Tekken or Mortal Kombat or something like that. But I don't think it would incorporate too well, because most of the anime systems that we see now, there's like an arc behind, like the person's ability. Like they might be like, we talk about Demon Slayer. They can fight with a sword, but they don't always bring out the wind breathing or sun breathing or anything like that. So that's a good one. And then also. You guys open it up again. You guys think that Ghost of Yotei or Tsushima would work as an anime or a live action?
It could work as a live action for sure.
Bro, they did
I think we just seen
Avatar, so dirty.
What?
You talking about the wait?
What?
You're talking about the live action on Netflix or the movie?
I think it was a live action on Netflix.
Oh my God,
like
bro, that
movie?
movie was good. That was good.
I'm talking about with Aang, bro.
You talking about the Netflix series?
Yes, bro.
Crazy. Okay,
good.
you know what? We're gonna dive into that next episode, because
we gotta talk about
we're gonna
that
talk
next.
about that next episode.
Actually,
because
what we could do, we could talk about live depictions of anime.
That is crazy, because that is crazy.
I
But
told you she got bad takes, man.
Man.
whew,
It wasn't gonna
crazy.
be too far before you disagree with her on something.
that is crazy.
I
Well,
think it was pretty good, though, actually.
I think anything that starts as an animation, you have a very hard time translating that into live action. I haven't seen a lot of successful examples.
But
They only did.
But
like
to see,
two
this
of them
is
really good.
where I disagree, because you can have, and so even from like the Aang perspective, right, from the Avatar perspective, you have there's a lot of things that happen in the background that we don't see, and in Avatar, the animated series, you don't see this, but in the live action show, they show the beginning, how the airbenders were taken out. They show how the Fire Nation did this stuff. So they show these things, even with what is the island with the Earthbenders? And they show things that not Boston Say, not Boston Say, because Boston Say, like you see majority of that in the show, but I gotta disagree with that. I think they kind of capitalized.
The nomads in the show too, in a regular cartoon. They just showed it earlier in the live adaptation, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
kind of feel like you have to though, because they.
But to start
so
off
much
with
of the
it,
story.
yeah. But to start off with it is definitely in my opinion is better, because
I think that was better too.
Yeah, because you can kind of see like how Aang came to be and how we are, but we kind of drifted there, but
You brought it up. You brought this in here.
Someone's got to reel us back in.
You brought it up.
Sorry, all right. I guess we'll ask one last question as a closing segment here. Final thoughts on both topics that we talked about. So I think I'll start it off. I think for me, I'll stand by it and I'll say Ghost of Yotei. See, I keep talking about it. Maybe I need to go play it. Ghost of Yotei for me, I feel like an 8.5. And for Demon Slayer, I would say a 9 out of 10. I wouldn't say 10 out of 10 because I didn't like how it ended.
Oh, no.
I felt like they could have put a little more in there, you know. Like they could have put the first half of the fight scene between Kakoshibo and Tokido just to kind of preface it, you know, so we kind of know, like, you know, a little teaser, you know.
You got Zenitsu versus his brother.
But
you got
that's why I said 9.
Shinobu
I said 9
versus-
out of 10. I said
Okay.
9 out of 10. Not because of the content, like the movie itself. I just don't like the ending. So, but 100%, like everything in that movie, absolutely.
Man,
but
that was such a good movie.
now I'll open it up to you guys. What's you guys' final ratings?
So all right, I didn't play Ghost of Yotei, but from what I've seen, it looks like a pretty good game, and that's probably the best I could give you as far as a rating. It looks like a solid game. Like the visuals, I think is very dope. It actually makes me want to play the game somewhat. As far as Demon Slayer is concerned, man, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10, and I might be off the deep end with this. I might be just glazing or whatever, but it's a solid 10 out of 10 for me. Everything was done right. The story was good. It kind of exceeded my expectations because I didn't have really high expectations going into it because we all know how anime movies can go. The execution was really well. The animation was really well. The fight choreography was super dope. Akaza's backstory kind of just drove it home to like kind of solidify what type of movie it was. So I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10.
I can agree with that.
I'm looking forward to the next one. The only downside is just it's gonna take too long for it to get here.
Yeah, 2027.
I'd
rather them take.
I
their
would
time.
too though, but
Please
like
do it justice.
don't act
Yeah.
like you didn't leave watching this movie waiting for more. You
for
want to
sure.
see the next
That's why I
one.
said 9 out of
Watch
10
it
for me.
again.
Yeah.
That's why I said 9 out of 10 for me because I don't know, man. I felt like I was left on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
And, you know, honestly, like,
They did.
everything was perfect. That
Yeah.
movie was literally like, if I could play the Homelander meme right now, he's like, it's perfect. It was
Yeah.
perfect. Like, that literally was my mind coming out of the theater. Like, I legitimately went through, like, a whirlwind of emotions in that movie. And it's like, you know, from sad to excitement to hype to just, you know, on the edge of my seat, you know, 100%. But watch. I already know. I feel like I already know your.
Yeah, so for me, Ghost of Yotei, bro, it's a 5 out of 10. Actually, we just gonna drop it down.
Oh man, we went down.
Yeah, we're gonna drop it down another point.
Man, we talked about Demon Slayer for like a half an hour or more.
Listen, Ghost of Yotei.
She really been thinking about it.
In my opinion, they did not do the story justice, and that's the most important factor. I would have gave them a higher score if the story was compelling and then like the mechanics were a little off, you know what I'm saying, or if they changed things a little bit that didn't quite fit. But I also just feel like even the addition of an animal, it just seems very random.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't necessarily fit for me.
I can agree. Some things do seem out of place. So yeah, okay. So I agree.
So I think they wanted to make it expansive, like they wanted to grow, but I just think they didn't take time with that story to craft it in a way that I feel like did it justice.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, revenge for the sake of revenge is still a good storyline.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. Demon Slayer, it's a 20 out of 10, bro.
That's
Yeah.
what
I'm
talking
going back to see it again.
One above it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
All right.
you on that.
All right. Well, you guys heard it. That's about everything today. So I want to thank you guys for listening to the very first episode of the Side Quest Saga, and we'll definitely be back with some more hot takes in our next episode. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and enjoy the streams, and we'll have more exciting content for you guys coming up soon.